Today, it seems a mission impossible to count the number of varieties of Chinese food, or to divide the dishes into groups geographically without raising any serious objections. Besides food itself, there is something more important: the control of heat, seasoning, and names. Too many secrets are there to be discovered in Chinese kitchens. This hut is where the tashis dry their handmade potteries. It's also where the salted meat, which is called pipa pork by the Tibetans — pipa is a Chinese traditional string instrument — they have been hung here for more than half a year. Fresh food is precious to the tashis, so they process most of their food in such a way to preserve them for as long as possible. The lunch is for the neighbours. All of the residents in Nishi grow highland barley, and when it is time for fertilization, they will help each other to save time. Up till now, villagers here have stuck to the old customs, both of the method of cultivation and their lifestyle. Tashi is a potter specialized in making black potteries. Some of the black potteries he made will be bought by the travelers, but it does not mean that they are handicraft. Instead, the black potteries here are the secret of the kitchens. People in Nishi are not against modern kitchenware, but they still prefer traditional Nishi black potteries, particularly when they prepare rice, vegetables, soup, and buttered tea. The practice of boiling in cooking is closely linked to the invention of pottery cookers, among which is Nishi black pottery, a young member of the family, yet with a history of 3,000 years. Nishi has the most delightful weather. In Shangri-La, villagers here believe that they live among the sacred mountains, which provide them with the endless clay. They consider it a gift from nature. The black pottery regains its popularity in recent years, which makes the young grow more interest in the craftsmanship. The eldest son of Tashi is also known as Li Xiaolong. He has been working out of the village for several years, and now he's back. Li Xiaolong visits the town every week to teach the pupils in the primary school to play drum and make black pottery. He wishes to open a pottery classroom in the town, but now he has to help his family in the fields. Tashi, along with other potters here, has inherited the skills invented by their ancestors.
You can see the lines are coming out here.
To bake the clay, one needs to pile up the firewood on the ground. When it is half done, pine needles and sawdust are added. The finished product is black, the most valued colour among Tibetans. It's a result of a chemical reaction between carbon molecules and the clay. Pottery cookers are not able to play the leading role in modern kitchens, but the Nishi black pottery is a living specimen. Before bronze was introduced into the kitchen, pottery had been the sole hero in Chinese kitchens. People couldn't imagine another way to cook the food, besides baking and roasting, until pottery came into being. It was a surprising leap in cooking. People here have their own philosophy of life. They are not after an exquisite lifestyle. There is hardly anything in their diet except simple food and simple cooking. The black pottery can be used to boil. Lying between the water and the fire, it passes the heat to the food, helping to release all those natural flavours. The secret in the kitchens in Nishi lies exactly under this boiling broth. It was the surprising discovery thousands of years ago, and now one of the most commonly used cooking methods in our daily life. In China, food is usually connected with gratefulness. It is the reward to the labourers. Another kind of pottery cooker is used in Kunming, which is a city near Shangri-La. It is much more complicated in structure. Steam pot chicken. It's prepared by a method between boiling and steaming. The broth is turned into steam by heat, and then steams into the pots through the horn-shaped tunnels in the centre. The steam then cools down in the pots and turns back into liquid. Combining this boiling and steaming, the special cooker enables the fresh taste of food and broth to travel between the pots in a cycle and makes the full use of the fluidity of steam. In this way, it presents the most charming and blended taste of the ingredients. Chinese first introduced the method of steaming into kitchens and invented a variety of steamed dishes. People here in Junan town in Shunde are celebrating the Double Ninth Festival. The young are marching, carrying a statue of Guangdong, while the old wear cornel on their heads. It is even more exciting than the Spring Festival. Young Guangye turns 40 today. But he has no time to hold a party, because there's a much bigger one for him to prepare, a country banquet. The site of the event is not usually fixed. Shunde is the home of delicacies. The kitchen they are building now apparently holds no secrets, but it's going to meet the challenge from the most critical food buffs in Guangdong. Yang knows clearly that the choice of ingredients is one of the deciding factors of today's banquet. All about like that. In the past, a river could divide a town into two, with totally different languages and diets. However, it now connects and goes through our lives, with a rapidly growing economy on one end and an old, unchanged customs on the other. Shunde has a population of more than 1 million, among which there are at least 300 country banquet cooks, like Yang Guangye. No matter whether it's a personal anniversary or a public holiday, people here love to celebrate it together, enjoying the inexpensive but delicious food, all prepared, of course, by professional country banquet cooks. The makeshift kitchen is soon ready. Yang has hired some efficient and skilled housewives to do the enormous preparation work. During the festival, the same banquet can be seen daily in different villages. The days of celebration aim to continuously remind the young generation to respect the elders. Red tablecloth, without which a celebration cannot call a celebration at all. It is now when the true secret of the open kitchen is shown to us. This is a whole, freshly slaughtered pig. Yang and his assistants need to prepare it as quickly as possible to keep the fresh taste. The pig used today weighs 50 kilograms. It has been cleaned. Now, Yang will apply salt, sugar, spices and sesame, as well as white spirits all over the skin. Then, you'll need to marinate the pork for a long time. This is essential to achieve the perfect taste. Chinese prefer fresh-made food, which means the longer the marinade is needed, the better the cook should be at timing. Steamed dishes are always the main course at a country banquet. They're now preparing pork steamed with arrowroot. It would be similar to the stewed pork if not for the arrowroot. The starchy food could absorb the grease of the pork and blend its own sweetness and fragrance perfectly with the meat. Both the arrowroot and the pork will melt in the mouth, which means it is highly recommended for the old. The main idea of pork steamed with arrowroot is to break it up, while the Junan steamed pig has to be prepared whole. 3 hours have passed. White spirits are added into the marinade. Then, Yang moves the entire pig into a special steam cupboard. The wetted cloth is now not only a symbol of good luck, but also a means to keep the steam inside. Steaming is one of the basic cooking skills in China. In history, the word steam has the same meaning with that of sacrifice. The sacrificial offerings have to be presented to the god intact. The fluidity of steam enables the heat to be passed evenly, and therefore makes it possible to cook a pig as a whole.
About the time now.
The villagers are arriving one after another, yet the steamed pig is still only half done. Now it's time to pierce the skin evenly with a special nail brush. Unwanted grease will come out through the holes.
The more grease that comes out, the tastier the pork would be. Spray ice water and then steam it again.
The ice water makes the holes in the skin suddenly contract, making the pork chewier. The steam dispersed by the icy water will regather and cycle in the cupboard. It'll take another 20 minutes. After that, the entire pig will be ready to be served. The focus of the banquet is obviously for the old. They will receive money wrapped in red paper and blessings from the younger generation. From the sacrificial rites in history to today's celebrations, banquets like this help people to get closer. It offers a chance to share delicious food together.
Use big cups, make it half and half. Cut the carrots into two and place pineapples at the bottom. Okay, let's make pineapple spare ribs.
Today's main course is, of course, the steamed whole pig. In order to let each of the 1,000 guests enjoy the best taste, Wu Yang and his men have to cut the pig into pieces as soon as possible. Although time is up, the sesame has to be sprayed for the third time, and also sesame oil. Wu Yang is a famous cook in Zhenan. No one here can deny that the dishes he serves at the county banquet are just as delicious as those in a starred restaurant, if not better. To prepare a successful country banquet, only the taste of a local chef can be trusted. And this is another secret in the kitchen. Taste and sense of reunion are equally important. Ouyang Guangye spent his 40th birthday dripping with sweat in the kitchen. The best gift he's received today? The time when his folks said to him, delicious. In Chinese kitchens, steaming is more frequently used to make staple food than dishes. Baozi is one kind of Chinese staple. It's a kind of dumpling stuffed with various ingredients. The stuffing should be properly steamed, and at the same time making sure that the wrapping does not collapse. Yangzhou is the birthplace of Huaiyang cuisine. It's one of the most important regional cuisines. Yangzhou baozi is delicate, delicious and juicy. If it's the first time you try Yangzhou baozi, you'd better be careful with its juicy filling. 25 years after his departure, 72-year-old Zhu Changlong returned to Yangzhou from Japan. Now he is back in the familiar Yechun tea house, enjoying a cup of tea with some old friends. During the morning tea time, besides baozi, there must also be a plate of boiled bean curd shreds on the table. Despite its ordinary appearance, the dish is in fact quite a demanding one, as a representative of Huaiyang cuisine. Here we shall see yet another secret in Chinese kitchens, that of the control of knives. tofu has developed a variety of forms since it was invented by the Chinese 2,000 years ago. White bean curds of high quality are fine and solid and not vulnerable. But even so, it is by no means easy to cut a piece of white bean curd into hundreds of shreds. Knife control is important, but not the most. Something more crucial is the control of heart. If you cut your finger, nothing unusual. Every apprentice does. Every apprentice does when he tries to use a knife for the first time. The hundreds of bean curd shreds are now stretching themselves out in the water, shaking off some of the bitterness and getting ready to be wrapped by the fine tastes of chicken broth and various fresh ingredients. Each shred absorbs characteristics of all of the materials and becomes a vessel of nutrition and wonderful tastes. Around 1,000 years ago, coal became widely used as cooking fuel. But it is from the age of firewood when Chinese cooks developed the habit of valuing heat, which requires cooks to cut the food into proper forms, according to the way that they are cooked. Western cooks cut the food into different forms with various cutting tools, while the Chinese do their various cuttings with just one tool. Sunflower chopped pork. The pork is sliced using the most commonly used skill, plain cutting. It is commonly known as Yangzhou style braised meatball. To achieve a super spongy taste, the streaky pork is sliced, shredded and diced into the size of a pomegranate seed. They do so because probably diced meat would be easy to roll into a ball and unlikely to collapse. The meatballs are then put into chicken broth, prepared beforehand and stewed for nearly 2 hours, during which the meatballs must not fall apart. But after this, there is still more to be done. When the meatballs fully absorb the essence of the chicken broth, remove any grease from the surface and put them into a fresh pot of chicken soup. This is the last step of making Yangzhou-style braised meatballs. Every time he returns, Zhu Changlong likes to visit the places that he's been as a young man. 25 years, it seems to be more than a blink of an eye in the history of a city, but it's long enough for a person to develop a deep nostalgia. Plain cutting or oblique cutting. A cook specialised in Chinese cuisine knows it too well that even the slightest change in cutting may directly result in a total difference in the feeling on the tongue or the teeth. Chinese food can never be judged simply according to the degree of heat used to cook. Yangzhou was one of the most important stops on the Beijing to Hangzhou Grand Canal, which brought the city a cultural charm, integrating the north with the south. The question is whether our guests will accept the menu, because Huaiyang cuisine focuses on broths, whilst we tend to retain the original taste and flavour of the ingredients. As an internationally renowned Chinese cuisine chef, Zhu Changlong returned to his hometown of Yangzhou. at the invitation of the Huaiyang Cuisine Museum. Hundreds of years ago, when Yangzhou was the hub of the salt trade in China, many merchants moved here to earn a fortune by trading salt. They bought from their hometowns local cooks, foods and flavour. It created the neutral taste of Huaiyang dishes, mild and pleasant, acceptable to both the northerners and the southerners. Salt traders were rich, but they never had a place in politics, so they devoted themselves to comparing their gardeners and chefs. The influence of it can still be tasted from certain types of haute cuisine today. If you want to shred lactone tofu, which is extremely tender and vulnerable, into the size of a piece of hair, it's not only a challenge towards the coordination of hands, eyes and knife, but also the integration of skill and mind. And that's exactly what we're going to need to prepare Wen-si tofu. When you're cutting, your knife should keep up the pace of the receding forefinger of your other hand, which is holding the tofu. You slice it and then shred. It should be completed without any mistake. Any hesitation will ruin the tofu. When the hair-like tofu shreds are put into clean water, they spread like clouds in the sky and form a perfect Chinese wash painting. Now the dish is more like a test to the cooks rather than one to satisfy customers. Zhu Changlong began his practice at the age of 19. After 3 years of painstaking efforts, Zhu Changlong finally mastered the skills of using a knife. Cutting skills require vigour and energy, but a successful cook relies not only on youthfulness, but also rich experience, which are normally more important. Monk Jianzhen's soy duck is made up of winter bamboo shoots and green and red pepper, wrapped in the skin of soya bean milk. The ingredients need to be sautéed. It's a cooking method between frying and stir-frying. There is only a tiny sheet of oil between the food and the frying pan. Since the temperature of the oil sheet goes up instantly, the control of heat is the key here. More heat will obviously burn it, and less will not do. No matter if it's animal fat or vegetable oil, Chinese cooks cannot do without them when they are going to show off their frying skills. The temperature of oil is higher than water, which means that oil could rapidly dehydrate the surface of food, not only to make it edible, but also to give it a nice burnt flavour and crisp taste.
When we are using oblique cuts to deal with this fish, we'd better make it a long and clean cut, especially the tail. In this way, the tail would bend upwards.
Each day, Zhou Sai-chun goes to work in a cook's uniform. She's teaching cooking skills. Zhou tries her best to pass on to the students all her experiences that she's acquired in more than 30 years of cooking.
The horn goes upwards with the paws clenched. You've got to put that a bit forward.
The art of cooking cannot be mastered only by reciting and doing paperwork. Classes in a cookery school is more like a laboratory. No one can be spared the mountains of homework and become a chef at the first try.
Go fast and heavily. That's right.
Zhou Sai-chun's daughter is preparing today's dinner for the family. She has 2 assistants, her mother and her grandmother, both of whom are former cooks.
If you are cutting vertically, just go ahead. Put your hand between them. It's quite easy.
Zhou Sai-chun's daughter has not had any lessons in cooking, but she boasts that she has a gift, thanks to her mother and grandmother.
Turn it down a bit. Just a little.
This is a typical kitchen in Chinese households. Oil is used in almost all of the dishes.
Try Jingjing's dishes. Well done, delicious. I knew you would say that. I don't need too much.
Zhou Saichun won't evaluate her daughter's amateur practice run with her professional taste buds. To the Chinese, dishes for the family need no unique skills.
I don't think you are excited.
Young Li Jing works for a TV station as a makeup artist. Like her mother, Young also earns her living with her hands. The difference lies in her irregular lifestyle. Nevertheless, she has a better working situation, comparatively more comfortable and glamorous. Female cooks are rarely seen in China, while women specializing in dish preparing and female chefs are even fewer. Young never thought about being a cook like her mother. In today's China, cities all look quite similar. If there is still something that can distinguish one city from the others, it must be the diet of its residents or the smells wafting above its streets. The taste of people in Hunan is just the same with the local flower drum opera, strong, exciting and rough.
Smells good.
The flavour Zhou Saichun is talking about is the burnt flavour released in frying. Although more and more theories and tests are showing us the bad influence of overtaking oil and fat, the Chinese still cannot do without the crisp taste of fried food, just as people in Hunan cannot give up their strong-smelling bean curds. People are often impressed by the fragrance and hot taste of Hunan dishes. However, hot is not a term used to describe a flavour, but a strong stimulation brought by chilies to the mouth, while the fragrance mainly comes from the oils and fats, and also the chemical reaction between fats and proteins caused by heating. Ancient Chinese found that oil could speed up the heating of food. It is undoubtedly a good idea to save fuel. The introduction of oil into cooking is one great contribution from the Chinese. This is Zhou Saichun's kitchen.
Okay, the tail is ready now.
If you are eager to make artistic dishes but lack a gift for the arts, you may practice by imitating. Nevertheless, cooking skills cannot be mastered by watching only. The course that Zhou is teaching now only lasts for 2 years. She must show her students as many of the popular dishes in today's restaurants as possible. Therefore, her lessons are not limited to the Hunan cuisine.
Now fry the shrimps until they turn bright yellow.
In old days, one learned how to cook through apprenticeship, but Zhou knows that nowadays students need to learn as much as possible when they are in school in order to find a good job. Her students are all around 20 years old. To most of them, cooking will be a skill to make a living. But before they thoroughly master the skill and become magicians in the kitchen, there's still a long way to go.
It's not evenly cooked, but I think it doesn't matter. You may try more marinade next time to force the flavour to go deeper inside. Then saute it. That would be okay.
Dong Junsheng is a famous chef and also a gourmand. He is the person who decides whether a new dish can be added onto a menu.
What do you think of it? It's badly fried. You cut it, then it falls apart. The appearance is ruined. The key is the chicken. We have to get fresh ones. They last only a few days. After that, they will be too tough to be served. And pay attention to the flavour.
It is a usual practice to add new dishes into the menu regularly. This time, Dong is trying to cook a classical dish, stewed sea cucumber with Welsh onion, in an original way.
Chop the onions into small pieces. It's original, but very simple.
Yet from the cutting of onions, seemingly simple, to the extracting of onion oil and puffing up dried sea cucumbers, which are more complicated, each procedure has strict criteria.
When we soak the dried sea cucumbers in water, we have to exercise good control to puff them up properly. It would be perfect if you puff them up to the extent that no more water coming out of them. Because if you put the sea cucumbers into the broth now, the flavour would reach deep inside.
If you think that only haute cuisine with ingredients like sea cucumbers requires complicated procedures, you are wrong. This is the kitchen in a luxurious hotel. It's fully equipped. However, the cuisine chef Liang Zegong is going to prepare here by no means a special dish: salted duck eggs. Since many years ago, Liang has not been cooking in the kitchen himself. Recently, a visit to the countryside aroused his desire to cook a special dish. Liang is now running a design studio for food and beverages. With his help of his international background and rich experiences in cooking, Liang has participated in many projects of high-ranking restaurants around the world. To be specific, Liang is passing on to the others the secret in the kitchen that he has discovered.
Quite impressive. This is the city wall of Ming Dynasty. It's carefully planned.
Liang often travels around the world with his wife Su Ning. They also like to visit the countryside to seek inspiration. As for cooking, he does it out of his love and passion. Liang Zigong is a Singaporean-born Chinese. When he was young, Liang was famous for his originality. But his knowledge of Eastern and Western cookery is the chemical point of view also makes him tend to respect the tradition. This Chinese restaurant in Hangzhou is also managed by Liang's team. Chef Ye Baowong is one of his old friends. Today, the two are going to cooperate to make a new version of a famous Hangzhou cuisine, steamed grass carp in vinegar gravy. The control of heat is always a crucial secret in Chinese kitchens. The timing of beginning and ending, the degree of its power in different stages, the proportion of oil to water according to the food, all of them require a specific knowledge. To make a perfect steamed grass carp in vinegar gravy, the control of heat is particularly important. They cut the fish half and half. One half is boiled, the other is fried. Both need to pay special attention to the time, when to put the fish in and when to take it out. Otherwise, the characteristic tender taste will be lost. Cooks are usually ranked, but the food is not. A dish as simple as salted duck eggs could also beat a famous chef.
Go on, taste these. They're small and yellow, one for each.
Liang Zigong has prepared these eggs for an entire month, but when he shares them with friends, he finds that it's not successful.
It's overdone, overboiled. The colour is acceptable, but overboiled. Cheers!
To a cook full of curiosity, there are always unexplored delicacies waiting for him. To the professional cooks, the secrets in the kitchen are their lifetime fortunes. To the ordinary people, the secrets in the kitchen are more connected with their youth, age, feelings, and memories. Like all other large cities, Hong Kong wakes up early. There's no need to have a shopping list, because Granny Lee knows exactly what she needs to buy. She has been busy in the kitchen for nearly her entire life, so she is also among those who know the secrets of the kitchen. Liang Yihu is a fine artist and also the founder of a charity. Artistic creation is not a motivation for her, but as release of feelings, so is her understanding of food. Compared to the skills needed in cooking, it is the unspoken love poured into the dishes that is so fascinating to her. Two years ago, Liang Yihu launched a charity project. She invited some senior citizens to recall the dishes that they were proud of when they were young, as well as the memories behind those specific dishes. The stories told by the old have been compiled into a book. It looks like a guidebook in cooking, but in fact, it's a record of the old ladies' and men's lives. Some are sweet, some are very bitter. Today, Liang Yihu is going to visit two groups of old people as a return visit for the reprinting of her book. It's the weekend, but Li Qianyo is not preparing lunch for her children. They are always too busy to have lunch at home. The lunch is for an old friend, Liang Yihu.
Ashan brewed this. Of course, I know how to. Go on, open your mouth. Okay, you do it.
Each time she visits here, Liang Yihu feels kind and warm. Besides smiling, the old friends always show their love and care by cooking a bowl of soup for her.
So sweet. How did you make it? I have a question. When frying egg dumplings, you need to turn them over, right? I can't do that. Why?
The publication of the book makes the old feel that more people are getting to know them, as if they have become famous chefs giving lectures. They are stuffing meat into the pomelo peels, using egg as a seal. The stuffed pomelo peels are to be sautéed and then stewed. It's Granny Lee's original recipe. The soup and dishes that she makes every day have no attractive appearance, nor require outstanding skills. But that would not stop most Chinese's attachment to Mama's flavour. As an important trading centre in Asia, Hong Kong introduces delicacies from all over the world to Chinese, and at the same time introduces Chinese cuisine to the world.
Now cross your fingers and spin. Do you hear me? 1, 2, 3. You're enjoying yourself so much. Shall we make a wish? Next time when you meet here again, what do you want to eat? Tell me. one for everyone.
Even though they do not meet frequently, they could still remember there's such a sister with white hair playing with them and talking about delicious food with them. Although their taste buds are aging, the taste of delicious food in the hometown still remains very much in their memory.
Xianyou, I love cake. He called me. Even the driver got lost. Where have you been yesterday? Why are you asking about the details? Do you want to cook it by yourself? I can't. How does it taste? You shouldn't have eaten anything before you came here. I told her not to.
It's not the first time that Liang Yihu was impressed by the old lady's original recipe.
Come on, good girl.
Granny Li can't reunite with her children so often, but the visit and accompany of Liang brings her a sense of being loved. In Granny Li's narrow kitchen, all the secrets that she is holding in her hands are perhaps nothing but true affection. So what exactly is the secret in the kitchen? Is it the pipa pork prepared by the black pottery potter? Or the overwhelming skills of cutting as shown by the master in Yangzhou? Is it hidden in the salted duck eggs, which accidentally beat an internationally renowned chef? Or is it in the bowl of soup in an old lady in Hong Kong? Outwardly, the secret of the kitchen is the art of water and heat. Inside, it is no more than the harmonious interaction between human and nature. The earth offers everything it has to humans, and humans share their common enthusiasm towards delicacies. Therefore, the secret in the kitchen is nothing.